In the tower itself, you'll see a hole on the 3rd floor. Walk just to the left of it in order to enter the parallel zone. As soon as you get here, take out the ghost first before you start heading up the ladder, or else these ghosts are going to end up being a huge pain if you try to sneak past them without taking them out. Up a few floors from where we enter the parallel zone, we'll grab the helmet. Now we have all the gold armor in the game, so we have some pretty good defense. Once you have the helmet though, just continue moving up throughout the tower, as there's another exit to the parallel zone near the top, so we can get right to the top of the tower where the boss room is. Once back in the main part of the tower, enter the boss room to enter the Centipede Room. Now the Centipede enemy is actually one of the few bosses in the game that actually moves on a set pattern. He'll always be moving in the same direction every time you fight him. So stay in the middle of the screen and launch your swords at him as he moves back and forth along the screen. For the most part, he'll actually move under you if you time it right and move into the right spots, or just slightly go above you, and you'll actually be able to dodge most of his projectiles easily. Once you hit him enough, he flashes and we grab our second of the 7 bells. Use an orange scroll just like we did last time, and then take the bell up and burn it in the fire. This is the Tower of the Grape Burn. Now there's actually going to be 2 different items that we're going to be picking up. One on our way up through the tower, and then we'll be picking up a different one on our way back. The parallel zone, it just ends up being easier to grab the second item on our way back down through the tower, so we won't be using one of their scrolls through this one. Once inside the tower, start off by taking out 1 or 2 of those bad enemies before making your way to the first ladder. If you're not able to get a hold of one of them, you can try to go up the ladder, but usually, more than likely, the bats will start immediately gang attacking you as soon as you try to get to one of those ladders. To the left of this room is the secret room, which has the location of our next sword. This sword will actually have about the amount of shots that it takes to defeat most enemies. Normally these bats would do a lot of damage to us, but since we have all the armor, you can tell that it actually only takes away about 2 health per time that one of those bats ends up hitting you. One of the other negative things about the game is that the health meter at the top being white ends up blending in a lot of times with the different backgrounds, so sometimes you're not actually able to see how much health you have left, which that can be annoying. But once you have the armor, you can usually be pretty safe that most enemies aren't going to be able to hurt you too badly. At the top of the tower, it's time to take on the Grape Burn. Do the same thing that we did during the first boss battle of the game. Walk to the left side of the screen and start walking diagonally near the hole in the wall while firing shots at the Grape Burn. His fireballs that he drops can still do a lot of damage to you. so be sure to try to avoid as many of them as you possibly can. Once he's done, grab the bell and then start heading back down the tower. Heading back down the tower can sometimes be a little bit more difficult than going up because not seeing some of the enemies ahead of time. Also, as you can see here, sometimes you can get stuck inside certain enemies, especially those ghost type enemies, and you can end up taking a lot of damage, especially if you don't have the armor yet. Once we're back outside the tower, head down a few of the staircases, watching out for the slimes when we get here. On this platform in the right corner of it enters the parallel zone. Immediately some bats are going to start hoarding around you, so try to do your best to try to take those out before you're able to go to that staircase on the left side. Sometimes, as you can see, the bats take forever to actually be able to land a hit on them. Once you take out another one of those caveman enemies, you'll see the double shot on the left side. Use the double shot, and when you have that equipped, you're able to fire out 2 swords at one time, which is a huge difference from just being allowed to have that one sword out at a time. Not only does this end up speeding up the amount of attacks you can do quickly, it speeds up the amount of time it takes to take out most enemies. It ends up making the game a little bit funner to play, since you can have more than one projectile out at a time. Before we head to the next tower, time to make a quick pit stop in order to burn that other bell that we just picked up. Next, we're entering the Cold Killer's Tower. Inside here, there's only one item to pick up, and that is the cup. Picking up the cup, when you use it, will actually refill your Lyra meter all the way back up to its maximum of 250, so it's like getting free money by picking it up. This will allow us to bypass really having to grind for any more money. Once you grab the heart piece on this floor, immediately enter the parallel zone just above it, and the cup is right below you. So pick that up and then walk to the opposite end of the platform to teleport back into the main part of the tower. Once we get to the top floor, it's time to deal with Cold Killer. Now this battle's gonna go really quickly. Walk up and immediately start firing at him. With our armor and all, you should be able to defeat him rather quickly with the amount of shots, as well as the armor that we have, since he won't be able to do too much damage to you. Once you fired his shots at him, take him out, and then teleport back outside. Before we head up and burn the bell, we're gonna head back into the other area of the game where the shops are located. Here we're going to be buying a few more of their scrolls, but we're not going to be buying them from the same shop as we did last time. Inside this room, enter the shop and buy one of the orange scrolls for 90. After you've bought one, use the cup to refill your money back up to 250 so that you can purchase another one of their scrolls. We're going to buy a total of 3 more orange scrolls, as well as if you have the extra money, you might as well pick up a red potion so that if your health does get low, you can replenish it. Once you have those items, it's time to head back to the main part where all the towers are located. Once back here, start off by heading up the ladder and burning that bell we got in Cold Killer's area. The first tower we head back to now that we're back in the main area is Death Bear's tower. Inside here we're going to be picking up one item as well, the gauntlet. Just like all the previous towers, just take your time walking up the ladder, taking out those annoying enemies like the bats as well as the ghosts, and all the ones that you really don't have to worry about, just try to avoid them and get past them without taking too much damage. On the left side of this platform is a secret room, and this contains the gauntlet. There's a lot of ghosts in this room, which will start doing a lot of damage to you. Just keep firing in the directions that they are to take those out. Once you grab the gauntlet, be sure to equip it, because now that we have it, we fire out really fast. So now we not only have 2 shots at a time, we fire out double the speed. So now it's actually pretty fun to play the game since you can actually deliver a lot of hits easier. Up here it's time to battle Death Bear. Walk into the room and immediately start firing. It'll only take a couple of seconds to defeat this boss, especially considering we have all the upgrades now. Once Death Bear is taken care of, grab the bell, use a scroll, and then head up the ladder to burn the bell. Now that we've defeated probably the easiest boss in the game with all our upgrades, it's time now to head back to the Great Wing Tower, the first tower that we headed to in the game. We already grabbed the item here, we have all these upgrades, so now it's just time to slowly work our way up the tower, taking our time to make sure that we don't take too much damage and get to the top and take out the Great Wing.